Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Gibbon Travelogue. Today we are embarking on a journey through the historical marvels of Xi'an, China's ancient capital. Along with Athens, Rome and Cairo, Xi'an is one of the four world's great ancient cities. Xi'an is the capital of Shaanxi province with a population of 13 million people and is probably best known as the home of the terracotta army of Qin Shi Huang. To truly explore Xi'an, you need to cover three areas. For the first area, you take the eastern route, 1 hour east of Xi'an City, where you can find the famous Terracotta Warriors Museum. For the second area, you take the western route, 1.5 hours west of Xi'an City, where you can find the imperial tombs of the Tang Dynasty, including Wu Zetian's tomb. The third area is within Xi'an City, which in itself is a treasure trove of cultural sites. In this video, we want to show you the wonderful things you can do in this incredible city.
Our room 3001 JW Marriott.
Good morning! So excited to explore the city. Let's see how's the weather like today. Seriously, didn't know that it snows in Xi'an, and in mid-November some more. The hotel staff told us that it is indeed unusual, no thanks to climate change. It is quite easy to travel around in Xi'an City, and the most convenient way is to use the Xi'an Metro. However, if you have limited time, it is also inexpensive to scoot around in taxis. Your legs will be grateful to you. Okay, let's start our exploration of the top 10 things to do in Xi'an City. Xi'an is probably one of the few cities in the world that people can be seen walking on the streets in period costume without getting any funny stares from passerbys. The Hanfu movement is a cultural movement seeking to revitalize Han Chinese fashion since 2003. In recent years, this movement has gathered steam, especially among the young people of China. In part, due to the many popular Chinese period dramas, and in part, driven by platforms such as Douyin and Weibo. Interestingly, we struck up conversation with 3 local youths, and they too were on the way to rent Hanfu for a day of photo taking in the city. So we decided to just tag along with them. How lucky we are. This is the shopping mall just opposite the Drum Tower. We can see that the Hanfu movement has generated a thriving industry with hundreds of stores offering costume rental services. So how much does it cost to experience Hanfu in Xi'an for a day? This is a typical breakdown. In total, between 350 to 800 RMB. Well, the one that we went to and strongly recommended by the local youths cost us just 400 RMB. For those who are game enough for this experience, be prepared for at least a couple of hours for the elaborate dress-up. I'm quite sure you will not be disappointed. Still in our Hanfu, we come to our very first stop, the Drum Tower, Xi'an Gulou. The Drum Tower is located right in the heart of Xi'an City. Erected in 1380 during the early Ming Dynasty, It stands towering above the city center and offers incredible view of the bustling streets below. The drum tower got its name from the huge drum located within the building. Along with the bell tower, the drum tower helped to tell time, with a bell struck at dawn to indicate the start of the day, while the drum was beaten at sunset to indicate the end of the day. On the drum tower's first floor lies a hall in which hung many large drums. Each is decorated with intrinsic and beautiful Chinese writing, which symbolizes good fortune. Inside the drum tower, there is also a drum museum, which a variety of drums are on display, some of which can be dated back thousands of years. There is a drum show performed here every day. Just a stone's throw away, at the frantic intersection of 西大街、东大街、北大街 and 南大街, stands the domineering bell tower, Xi'an City Walls. Similar to the drum tower, the bell tower also dates from the 14th century and was rebuilt in the 1700s. The tower is a brick and timber structure and close to 40 meters high. It is the largest and most preserved one amongst the many bell towers left over from ancient China. The original giant bell of Xi'an Bell Tower was a Jingyuan bell cast in the year of Jingyuan in the Tang Dynasty. It was originally used by Jinglong Temple in Chang'an City, which today still stands at Xi'an West Street. The bell was moved to the bell tower in the early Ming Dynasty until 1953, when the relic was moved to Xi'an Beilin Museum. The Xi'an authorities copied the Jingyuan Zhong, and the imitation bell was hung on the northwest corner of the base of the Xi'an Bell Tower since 1997. Since we mentioned Beilin's Stele Forest, let's move to our next stop at this former Confucian temple with history back to 1087 during the Northern Song Dynasty. As we walk along Hepinglu towards the south gate, we now arrive at the Stele Forest Museum, Beilin Bowu-yuan. The museum gives a glimpse into what the ancient Chinese deemed important enough to set in stone. It was first established to preserve the Kaichen classics, which is a group of stone tablets, and also the Filial Piety classics. The collection since has grown and now include 11,000 relics, including 3,000 stone stelae that are housed in 7 separate exhibition rooms. Among these, there are 19 that are deemed to be national treasures, 国宝, that you should not miss. There are too many good stuff to highlight in this video, so I'll make a separate video to talk about the museums in Xi'an. This is the oldest museum in Xi'an, and is definitely well worth the visit for those of you who are history and culture buffs. Just a very short walk from the Stele Forest Museum is the Wenchang Gate of the Xi'an City Walls. Make sure to use your WeChat app to buy the 54 renminbi admission ticket to ascend the walls. The Xi'an City Wall, Xi'an Chengqiang, represent one of the oldest, largest and best preserved Chinese city walls. It was built under the rule of the Hongwu Emperor Zhu Yuanzhang as a military defense system. From Wenchang Gate, it is a short walk to the south gate, also known as Yongnin Gate, the most impressive of the 13 gates of Xi'an's 12-meter high city walls. This was the original site of Tang Dynasty fortifications. The walls we see here today were built at the beginning of the Ming Dynasty, and they include the country's only remaining example of a complete wall. Head up top to watch the sunset, or just simply soak in the lights and spectacles of this amazing structure. As a starting point of the Silk Road, everything passed through Xi'an on its journey from China to the west and vice versa. Arab and Persian traders arrived in sizable numbers, introducing Islam as well as their customs and food. Many stayed and intermarried with Han Chinese, and their descendants now make up the Hui Muslim minority group. The Muslim quarter of Hui Mingjie is the home of Xi'an's Hui communities for centuries. The narrow lanes of the Muslim quarter are full of butcher shops, street food stalls, and all kinds of different shops. You can also see men in white skull caps and ladies with their heads covered in coloured scarves. Today, the Xi'an Muslim Quarter is famous for its traditional foods and cultural activities. The sights, sounds, and smells really make it a wonderful place to just wander around. The alley that leads to the Great Mosque, Xi'an Daqing Zhensi, can be quite hard to find. We missed the intersection a couple of times. So when you are there, look out for this blue sign at this busy intersection. Continue to walk through this alley and you will come across the wall perimeter of the Great Mosque. The Great Mosque is one of the largest ancient modern mosques in China. Although the mosque was first built in the year 742 by Emperor Xuanzong during the Tang Dynasty, additions were made during the Song, Yuan, Ming, and Qing dynasties, which makes it an ancient architectural complex representative of many periods of time. Today, it houses more than 20 buildings in its 4 courtyards and is still an active place of worship. In the first courtyard, there is an old wooden archway with a stone carving of 2 dragons located just beneath it. This archway was built at the beginning of the 17th century during the Qing dynasty. The highlights of the second courtyard are the 5-room hall and the 3 connected stone memorial gateways, both constructed during the Ming dynasty. On the top of the main gate, there is an inscription, "The Court of the Heavens." Behind it are 2 stone tablets decorated with carved dragons. Inscribed on them are descriptions of the repair works at the orders of the Ming and Qing dynasties. The Imperial Hall in the 3rd courtyard is the oldest building in the mosque. There are quite a few stone stelae stored in there. A notable one is the moon tablet with Arabic inscription on how the Islamic calendar works. Also in the 3rd courtyard is the minaret called the retrospection tower. Like in all mosques, the minaret is a tower where the call to prayers is projected. The retrospection tower is an impressive building with 2 stories, 3 layers of eaves, and an octagonal roof, and definitely not built in the same style as the mosque back in Southeast Asia. Through the beautiful 3 connected doorways, San Lianmen, to the final courtyard is the One God Pavilion. The pavilion is hexagonal in shape and has its eaves upturned like archways, and in some ways resembles a phoenix, and hence its other name, the Phoenix Pavilion. Finally, we come to the main prayer hall. It is believed that the prayer hall was constructed during the Ming dynasty, although significant reconstructions occurred during the Qing era. The prayer hall is a monumental timber building with a turquoise roof, painted wooden brackets, a 6-pillared portico, and 5 doors. The prayer hall can seat more than 1,000 people. Non-Muslims are not allowed in there as the mosque is still an active place of worship. The Great Mosque is one of the must-visit attractions in Xi'an, as this mosque is really unlike any mosque that I have come across. The construction of the St. Francis Cathedral began in 1716 and is completed in 1727. The cathedral combines Chinese and Western architectural styles. It has 1 Romanesque structure and combines Western styles with traditional Chinese brick and timber architecture. It is believed that the fusion of Chinese and Western styles was due to the foreign missionaries' lack of professional design skills, as well as the preference of local artisans for using native materials. On the upper part of the facade, there is an electronic clock. There are 3 aluminium crosses on top of the facade, which were installed in 1991 to replace originals that were destroyed during the Cultural Revolution. Lilian and I attended Sunday Mass here. The Big Wild Goose Pagoda, 大雁塔, is a 7-story, 64-meter tall pagoda located 4 kilometers southeast of the South Gate. The pagoda is one of Xi'an's most famous landmarks and is one of China's finest examples of a Tang-style pagoda, which is primarily squarish rather than roundish. It was built around 648 during the Tang dynasty and originally had 5 stories. It was rebuilt in 704 during the reign of Empress Wu Zetian, and its exterior brick facade was renovated during the Ming dynasty. One of the pagoda's functions was to hold sutras and figurines of the Gautama Buddha that were brought to China from India by the 7th century Buddhist monk, scholar and traveller Xuanzang. His travels inspired one of the best-known works of Chinese literature, Journey to the West. The tower sits inside the Da Chi-En Temple complex, which was built in 648 to honor the Empress Wen-De, the wife of Emperor Tang Taizong. The temple is an active place of worship with both visitors and locals praying for their own personal intentions. The main hall of temple is called the Hall of Sakyamuni, and enshrined in the middle of the hall is none other than the statue of Buddha. Besides the main hall is the Tusita Palace, where a copper statue of the Mila Busa, regarded as the future Buddha of this world. There is another hall called the Guanyin Hall, where you can find a statue of the 1,000-hand Guanyin. Right at the back of the temple is where you can find the pagoda. The Big Wild Goose Pagoda was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site as part of the Silk Road's Chang'an-Tianshan Corridor in 2014. Oh, one more thing. To the north of the Big Goose Pagoda is a famous North Square with a spectacular musical fountain, the largest in Asia. The T-shaped musical fountain and waterscape area cover an area of 15,000 square meters. When you're there, don't miss the evening performance around 8:30 p.m. or 9 p.m. depending on the season of the year. Located in a serene garden, the Small Wild Goose Pagoda captivates with its elegance. Once part of the 7th century Jianfu Temple, this 13-tiered pagoda was built by Empress Wu Zetian in 707 to honor her predecessor, Emperor Gaozong. Much less imposing than the Big Goose Pagoda, the smaller pagoda housed Buddhist texts brought back from India by the pilgrim Yi Qing in the 8th century. A tremendous earthquake in 1555 lopped off the top 2 stories of what was originally a 15-story structure. Climbing to the top at a price of 30 renminbi lets you examine the damage. The Xi'an Museum is part of the same complex and shows how the ancient capital changed over the centuries. On the grounds, there is also a giant bell. Visitors can ring for good luck for a prize. The whole park offers good people watching opportunities and is very peaceful compared to the other Xi'an attractions, making it a good place to take a break. For a deeper dive into Xi'an's past, the Shaanxi History Museum is a treasure trove of artifacts. Construction of the Shaanxi History Museum started in 1983 and was finally opened to the public in June 1991. It is one of the largest museums in China with an area of 65,000 square meters. Shaanxi was the ancient imperial capital of China, having been the seat of more than 13 feudal dynasties, including the Zhou, Qin, Han, and Tang dynasty. As such, the province is rich in cultural relics. Over the decades, the museum has collected over 370,000 precious relics which were unearthed in the province, including bronze wares, pottery figures, and mural paintings in Tang tombs. In particular, there are large numbers of Tang dynasty tomb figures from the tombs of the imperial family around the city. Once again, there are just too many things to highlight to fit into this video, so I'll make a separate video for it. Unlike other attractions, to visit the Shaanxi Museum, some planning needs to be done. Firstly, you are unlikely to be able to just walk in. An appointment has to be made first through the Meituan Mini program in the WeChat app.
Welcome to Shaanxi History Museum. So visitors who want to come here have to fix an appointment on a WeChat app. Now, if you are a foreigner, what you can do is you come by here and get the visitor service center with your passport, and they will help you fix the time and the day to come. That's all you can do.
I assure you that this museum is among the best in the world and well worth the trouble. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching our video. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, leave a comment for us, and don't forget to subscribe to Gibbon Travelog. Until our next video, we'll see you again.